And if you want to read my mind, just go ahead. There's nothing to hide. I'm so depressed, I'm not gonna lie, but your problem.
Abortion is a complex issue in America with multiple viewpoints: female reproductive rights, medical rights, and unborn fetus rights. Let's hear some of those views now.
I believe that killing human beings is generally wrong, especially if they're small.
When it comes to a woman's life, the woman's life is pertinent.
You can't divorce the facts from the morals in the case of abortion. I mean, what part of killing a baby has no moral attachment?
Where is the concern for the mother?
That's between God and the woman, you know? We do not believe in abortion. I do not believe in abortion. But I think that is between a woman and her God.
Why are female reproductive rights important? People who believe in the female reproductive rights believe in their right to choose, their right to medical care, right to put their needs before the fetus if in an emergency medical situation, and also the right to choose the direction of their life if they want to be a parent or not. Applying the virtuous ethics to female reproductive rights is basically they just want to be left alone to obviously make the right decision for themselves and their unborn child and personally deal with the consequences, rather be forced into unforeseen consequences or circumstances challenging their health and lives.
So you cannot, by law in most states, have a D&C or any type of health care, abortion, if you so want to choose that word.
The proportion of all abortions that are estimated to be least safe increases as abortion laws become more restrictive. So basically you can see the charts here. When they're least restrictive, a lot more safe. Moderately restrictive moves up to 17% unsafe, and most restrictive up to 31%. So you can see that even though the laws ban abortions, it doesn't necessarily stop abortions. So the point that no one has ever really been for abortion is just having safe quarters for it.
Just because you have a heartbeat does not mean it is a viable pregnancy. It is, first of all, when you become pregnant, it is a potential life. It is not a life. A life means that it can be taken care of outside of a womb. These are zygotes. They're not babies. It is a fact.
Now we get to the medical rights and why are they important? So when people want medical rights, they are wanting to do what's right for the patient, have the safest practices, be able to promote preventative care, and reduce the risk of unhealthy medical services.
When a woman has a non-viable pregnancy, it means that zygote or fetus is going to die. Subsequently, if something is dying inside your body, it is a fact that you are going to get an infection if you cannot get rid of that issue. These young women are outside in cars waiting for the heartbeat to stop so that they can get their health care.
This chart here shows majorities think state actions are designed to make it more difficult for women to access abortions rather than to be there to protect women. So all across the board, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, majority believes it's just to make it more difficult for women rather than protect them and their rights. So that's pretty interesting.
I don't believe it is between a woman and her government. And when they can start telling you what surgery you can, what you can get rid of, and what kind of, that's not a good thing. The government should not be in charge of your body.
It is an issue no matter how you look at it, personally or professionally.
Protecting the unborn fetus, the one who doesn't have a voice in all this. Protecting unborn children from painful murder. That's the brutal reality of it. All life is precious and deserves to be protected. The fetus is not part of a woman's anatomy, therefore deserves its own rights. So basically, people with religious beliefs or just a basic belief in humanity itself, being a voice for the voiceless.
You know, make sure the mom has a way to raise that baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I faced that choice. I don't know if you know that about me. I faced that choice, my first wife and I, when I was 19 years old. I impregnated her after we were together for 2 weeks. And I was making $7.25 at a lube shop, and she was making $10 an hour as a CNA. And we had just met, and that child was going to have a fucked up life. Rather than saving her the 9 months of carrying the baby and all that and making her comfortable, we chose another option. We found a family that had been wanting to have a child for years, that spent tens of thousands of dollars on in vitro and just couldn't get it done. And so we were able to place that child with that family. Now, he's a beer distributor and she's a networking consultant. The kid's set up for life, has an awesome life.
Primary interest of stakeholders invested in female reproductive rights, medical rights, and unborn child rights. Female reproductive rights. Basic slogan is "My body, my choice." They'd like to receive medical care without government interference, to have their right to choose an abortion protected by law, and have rights to birth control and preventative care.
These girls are coming in at the end passed out because somebody finds them out in their parking lot, or the husband finally is able to drive them in. They've already got 103-degree fever, and they end up in the ICU. If a mother's life is in danger, there just should not even be a question. So people need to come together and make that realization.
Medical rights and having safe medical practices. Doctors and practitioners have rights to patient confidentiality and services, have rights to make emergency calls that protect the mother over the child, if necessary, have rights to terminate pregnancy due to any reason seen fit by patient and doctor. What would be an answer that could help the situation overall?
If we could get laws and if we can get people together to recognize medical issues for the mother and not just the potential life, then maybe people would understand that the mother's life is worth something too, and not just the pregnancy.
Unborn baby rights, every life deserving a chance to live. Laws protecting the life of unborn children, protection from pain, suffering, and death due to abortion, options for adoption, laws against aborting fetus at any stage of pregnancy for any reason.
So all she had to do was go through the 9 months and give the baby up rather than have an abortion.
Some research findings from different academic disciplines: psychology, sociology, and ethics. Psychology and how it's relevant. Having abortion gives patients feelings of relief and hope, minimal long-term effects. But opposing that, post-abortion symptoms, people can experience regret, PTSD, anxiety, and depression.
It's not just a medical issue. It's also an emotional and mental issue. Some of these women have been scarred for life. They cannot have children after because some of these issues are so severe. Sepsis is not anything to joke around about. There are 2 cases that I know of that the girls ended up not being able to get pregnant because they had to have a full hysterectomy due to an ectopic pregnancy, which is when the egg has been fertilized inside the fallopian tube. And unfortunately, she was not able to have an abortion. That tube burst and she went septic and she got MRSA and they had to have a full hysterectomy.
Research findings of sociology that are relevant to abortion are social workers deal with extreme scenarios with patients who receive improper or no care medically, as you can see with the experiences of Janice that she deals with on a daily basis. She's desperate for help. The opposing of that is the family dynamics and relationships are affected in a negative way. if I'm a woman and I want to have an abortion, I can have an abortion. But if I wanted to keep that baby and Polly came over and kicked me in the stomach and killed my baby, he would get arrested because I wanted the baby. But what does me wanting it or not wanting it have to do with murdering it? You're still murdering it, whether...
That's a good case, dude.
Ethics and the research findings towards abortion that are relevant. Women deserve equal rights as men to the rights and freedoms of their medical health. Abortions are safe and effective. Opposing that is religious beliefs that all beings have a right to live. Rights of the unborn should have priority over convenience.
And if you want to read my mind, just go ahead. There's nothing